Welcome to Reigniting You, the show that explores a variety of topics and timely issues for making successful mid to late career transitions with a renewed sense of purpose and fulfillment for the next phase of your career and life, regardless of your age. Now, here's your host, Lisa Downs.
Welcome to Reigniting You, where we talk all things career transition for those age 40 plus. I'm Lisa Downs, Seattle-based career and retirement transition coach. Glad to be here with you today, and our producer, Eric. Hey, Eric, happy March.
Hey, happy March. Yes,
Already
indeed.
marching into March.
We are, and hard to believe it's already here.
Hard to believe.
Enjoying the sneak preview of spring that we're getting today.
Beautiful day. What's that saying? In like a lamb, out like a lion. So I think we're in like a lamb with March this week. So not too bad with the weather. But I'm excited for today's show. We've got another great guest today, and that's Pia Larson, the Chief Imagination Officer and founder of Fingerprint Marketing, who's here to help me answer our career transition question of the month. I'll introduce Pia right after this quick break.
I'm Charlie McGee with FranNet. Historically, economic disruptions drive entrepreneurship, and Americans are opening new businesses at the fastest rate in a decade. If your corporate career path has taken a wrong turn and you've always dreamed of being your own boss in a successful business, I can probably help you. Text me at 360-489-2153. I've been involved with franchising for the last 30 years and have been matching clients with the right franchise fit since 2013. There's no fee to you for my services. I'm here to listen and help you find what you need. Text or call 360-489-2153, 360-489-2153, and visit frannet.com to learn more.
Are you feeling challenged or frustrated without a plan for what's next in your career and life? Are you seeing writings on the wall for needing to make a mid to late career change and don't know how or what to do? Coach Lisa Downs of New Aspect Coaching can guide you to what's next, providing a fresh perspective and supporting you to create a clear and compelling vision for your future and a plan to move forward. Call Lisa at 425-216-3015. That's 425-216-3015. New Aspect Coaching, fresh perspectives for your career.
Alternative Talk 1150, online at 1150kknw.com.
Welcome back to Reigniting You, the show that focuses on all aspects of making mid to late career transitions. Thank you to our sponsor, Charlie McGee of FranNet, your franchise expert. I'm excited to introduce today's guest, Pia Larson. Pia brings over 25 years of marketing experience to Fingerprint Marketing, her third successful small business. She designed this full-service digital agency to help small business owners crush their competition through beautiful web design, smart branding, and strategic digital marketing. As a self-proclaimed marketing crash test dummy, Pia knows both the pain and the triumph that entrepreneurs experience and how marketing can be the missing element between full-on failure and fantastic fortune. Collectively, Pia's team offers over 150 years of experience to their clients, most of whom have doubled their business by partnering with Fingerprint Marketing. Hi, Pia. Welcome to the show. Happy to have you here.
Thank you, Lisa. Happy to be here.
Excellent. And I always like to start with guests with learning more about your journey. So what's been your career path that's led you to your business of Fingerprint Marketing?
Well, like most entrepreneurs, I'm kind of an accidental entrepreneur. Was in the corporate world for a while, working as a director of marketing. And then we had the housing bubble and found myself without work. But the people that I was working with at corporate decided that they still needed me. And so I started doing some freelance work, and it turned into a full-time job. And I decided I didn't want to go back to the grind. So I started solopreneur and then just built my team from there.
Awesome. And what would you say have been some lessons along the way that stand out to you?
to serve people first. I know a lot of people say that they're there to serve their customer, but really it's a mindset for me is to ask the question, how can I help? Where is the hole that you need plugged? How can I solve your problems? And from there, the conversation takes place and you build your relationship with your clients.
Excellent. And just to follow up on that, so with working with your clients, what are some kind of common situations or scenarios that you've seen them get into that you've had to help them with where they might get themselves in trouble a bit?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, as an entrepreneur myself, I've gone through these moments of overwhelm, of not knowing how to generate new leads or to maintain a brand online, or I don't know what path to go. So there's so many choices out there. I don't
Mhm.
know which one to choose because obviously I've got to invest my time and money in the right choice. So, first we want to identify, what is the low hanging fruit for them. And then, what's going to move the needle the fastest. And then we just take care of that in small steps. And then we measure and continue doing it from then on. So, being a calming, trusting advisor to them is super important. Letting them vent and then helping them research what is the best solution for them.
Mhm.
Because sometimes we're not the best solution. So we want to make sure that they're getting what they need.
That's great that you have that conversation with them. So even if they don't wind up hiring your firm, at least exposing them to different information and avenues to go down. Very cool.
Absolutely.
And what would you say for you personally was particularly helpful that's gotten you through different times of change and transition in your career?
It's having a virtual board of directors. So
Hmm.
having a team of mentors, like-minded entrepreneurs. I'm in a mastermind of other digital agencies that are from around the world. And I just being in a group like that where people who, they're making way more money than I am, but they have no problem lifting you up when you need it. And then reversely, I will help a startup and answer any questions or help them solve their problems. um, and just having honest people tell the truth about where you're going wrong is
Hmm.
is very helpful.
And I imagine that there's quite a lot of competition in the marketing world these days, especially
Mhm.
with online digital marketing. And what would you say in terms of what helps you and your organization really stand out from all the people out there who have really latched on to, and I see a lot of them come through LinkedIn, latched on to the online digital marketing, but what really helps you stand out from your competitors in that arena?
A few things. The first thing is the mindset of abundance. Yes, it is competitive, but I feel that there's enough work for all of us out there. And it really comes down to who do you want to work with? So, not only for me, who do I want to work with, but who can we serve the best and help the most? And then um, the prospect also needs to know, if you're going to be a partner with us, can I work with this person long term? Do I
Hmm.
trust them? Do I feel like I can trust them? So really just a personality fit. um, and getting to know the client up front instead of, we aren't a large agency, so it's not
Hmm.
like I'm going to send out a junior account executive who's, just starting, creating these important relationships. I'm actually speaking to the prospects. Another thing that helps us stand out is communication. We've been accused of being mind readers by some of our clients because we will come up with things like we're just really proactive. Because I wish I had people like that in my early stages of business who could say, "Hey, Pia, have you thought about this? Or you might want to check into this before it's too late." So we like to kind of be on the ready before you think you need us.
Hmm. And what do you do so when you initially work with a client and you are building that rapport and that relationship? What are some things that you do specifically to help build that relationship with them?
Well, it is all personal. I like to, ask them about kind of their career path and what their responsibilities are. I call myself the chief imagination officer because I love to inspire. So I love when people say, "Oh, well, that's not how we do it in the insurance agency business or the real estate business or whatever." I said, "Yeah, but let's just play a game. Let's just pretend that this was not a limit." So I help imagine what it could be like if they were, you know, if they had time or money or, the goals could be met. And
Mhm.
then they kind of relax and they dream with me. And then the next step, of course, is so let's reverse engineer this. How can we make this happen? So I find that that really resonates with my clients. We also help them with we create a parking lot, so parking lot of ideas, because you wake up at midnight and you're like, oh my God, I have to do
Yeah,
this, or do you really have to do it today? No, maybe we can do it next quarter, but that way we can have a list of creative ideas that we can tackle for the rest of the year.
that's awesome. And then I love the name Fingerprint Marketing. And what prompted you to go with that name for your business?
It's a cute story. I was working in my living room when I just got laid off, and I had two young children, and we had a fridge that left fingerprints on it, and they were constantly having to clean it. And of course, kids being kids, my two sons were like, "Well, I didn't touch it. I didn't touch it." And I'm like, "Well, each of you have your own fingerprint." And bam, that's where it came from.
Nice. Oh,
Yeah.
that's excellent. So cool. That's a very fun story and
Yeah.
really sticks in the mind too. That's great. Well,
And it
thanks.
also it also I'm sorry to
Oh, go
interrupt, but
ahead.
it
No.
it also is the line. It's kind of our core belief in everything that we do is
Mhm.
to create a unique uh position in the market. Nothing, we're not reinventing the wheel, but there's always something, one spice that you have or one flavor that you have that no one has.
That's great. Cool. Well, thanks so much, Pia, for sharing your about your career path and the insights and your background and where your business name came from. Really appreciate it. And it's time already for our next break. So when we come back, Pia and I will answer the March career transition question of the month. Hi, I'm Lisa Downs, career and retirement transition coach and host of Reigniting You on KKNW. I guide age 40 plus professionals to gain clarity, a renewed sense of purpose, and a career transition plan within 90 days so you can lead a fulfilling life regardless of your age. No longer does change have to mean riding off into the proverbial sunset. Let's talk about what your next phase of life can look like. Visit yournewaspect.com or call me at 425 216 3015. That's 425 216 3015. New Aspect Coaching. Fresh perspectives for your career.
This is Rob Bass, and I want you to tune in to Don't Ask Me to Talk with Stacey Heller, the show that brings joy from pain, sunshine where it rains. Don't Ask Me to Talk with Stacey Heller. And that's coming from me, Mr. It Takes Two, Rob Bass. Tune in.
Do what Rob Bass says. Take a listen to Don't Ask Me to Talk with Stacey Heller. That's me, Tuesdays from 3 to 4 on KKNW. To find out more information, check out my website, staceyconnects.com, or text DAMTT to 55678.
I'm Nathan Mumm, and I'm the host of Tech Time Radio. Tech Time Radio is officially on KKNW from Saturdays from 4 to 5 p.m. You can listen to our show live. We are excited to also then rebroadcast our episodes on Thursday morning from 6 to 7 a.m. The hosts cover top tech stories with a funny spin.
That's good. So,
Hooked on Phonics worked for you, didn't it?
It did, just a little bit.
Grab your weekly technology without having to geek out.
Yeah, I can imagine.
We talk technology for the everyday common person.
What's your story? Have you ever sat with that question and looked to your heart for the answer? It's time to explore the real you. Tune in Thursdays from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. for the brand new show, Story You, with Coach Debbie. Debbie and her guests have a mission to inspire and coach you to find your voice. If you need direction, Story You with Coach Debbie is for you. If you want to be an author, Story You with Coach Debbie is for you. Tune in Thursdays at 4 p.m. and be inspired. Have a career transition related question or want to share your best or worst job story? Call 360-436-6496. That's 360-436-6496. Just leave a voicemail and we'll answer your question or share your story on a future show. Stay tuned for more Reigniting You with Lisa Downs.
Alternative Talk 1150, here to uplift your day.
Welcome back to Reigniting You, the show that discusses timely issues and topics about career transitions for Gen Xers and Boomers. I'm your host, Lisa Downs. We're here with marketing expert Pia Larson. So Pia, our career transition question of the month for March is, how do I build my personal brand and market myself when there's so much noise these days? What are your thoughts on that question?
That is a great question. Well, first you have to start with the mindset that you are a personal brand. Even if you have a company that is at the forefront, everyone in your company has a personal brand. And I think in this day and age, personal brand is actually, I would say, more important than anything, because we want to do business with people we know, like, and trust. And trust, I found, you can be the cheapest product or service, but if you don't have trust, then you're not going to succeed in business.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you build that trust? Being authentic. Finding ways to connect with people, or your people. I say my peeps. So people that I want to work with or I want to have conversations with are really important. So that's part of it. The second part is, how do you shine? Do you shine through writing or video or podcasting or speaking on stage? Like, where do you find the most joy of expressing yourself? Because that's where you're really going to find your connections, and that's where your personal brand is going to take off. If you try to force yourself, I know people who are like, oh, I got to do a podcast, or I've got to do video, or you don't shit on yourself. If you're not going to do it consistently and you're not going to have fun doing it, then that's not your true personal brand. And then the third thing I would say is, mix your personal brand with everything.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm always poking fun at myself and marketing mistakes. So the marketing crash test dummy, being the chief imagination officer. So have fun with it. So that's my personal brand, is I like to make people laugh and I like to have fun at what I do. So figure out what your personality of your personal brand is, and marinate everything in it.
Great. And what would you say for folks who in career transition who may be reluctant to have much of an online presence?
Oh, well, it's never too late to start. Again, you don't have to be everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
You need to be where you're most comfortable with.
Yeah.
So, that the question can be answered in many different ways. But first of all, if you're transitioning into being a business owner, you want to have your website. It doesn't have to be complicated. It just has to look fresh, modern. You have to have an authentic voice, so good copy that will get people to stop and read it. Yeah, it just take baby steps.
Mm-hmm.
And be a life learner. So if you really love photography or visual marketing, take an Instagram course. Find someone that you really admire and study them. See what they're doing, because this is not rocket science. You
Yeah.
just have to follow the right formulas.
Yeah. And I think part of it too is just kind of getting out of your own head about it too, right? That, if I put myself out there more, that all these bad things are going to happen, or
Well,
people,
Lisa,
shying away from it.
I'll just admit, I have been thinking about doing a podcast for almost 2 years. I just recorded my first episode 2 weeks ago. I
Oh,
was petrified. And here I've been doing videos, I've been doing all this stuff, but it's just because it's new, right? It's
yeah.
a new thing. So step into that fear, get sweaty, be nervous, but you're going to feel amazing after you're done.
Yeah. That's great. Oh, congratulations on that.
Thank
That's
you.
fun. And so you and I, we both left corporate jobs and went independent in our work. What do you recommend as some initial steps for those who may want to do the same thing or at least are thinking about going out on their own?
I'm a big researcher. I like to have everything deeply researched, and I do a lot of I have discussions in Facebook groups. What do you think of this? What do you think of that? That might not work for everyone. They might get overwhelmed, but that's the way I find transitioning into anything new helps me. So identifying, let's say I want to start a new shoe company. What is required? Who's doing it right, and why do you think they're doing it right? Why do you think they're successful? And just being a student of that job or business that you want to model. And then if you still want to do it, start small, start a side hustle, start experimenting with it, because that way, when you're still working full time, you don't have the pressure of, paying the bills and everything.
Yeah. There's definitely a lot of trial and error, that's for sure. I know for me, it's like I've been out now, hard to believe, but it's already been 6 years. And boy, was there a lot of trial and error. And I still feel like there is, but then, but that's okay.
Yeah.
And, just knowing that it's going to take that sometimes and you'll figure it out. But, there's always things to tweak and to change and adjust along the way. So
And
I think it's important to not go into it thinking that you have to be locked in
right.
to any certain thing necessarily.
And the other thing I'll say too, Lisa, is, there's always talk about, oh, follow your dream, follow your passion. That's great if you're good at that.
Yeah.
So if you're not good at something, you're always going to struggle. You're probably not going to be as successful as you could be. So even if it's not something that, oh my God, I'm going to jump out of bed and do every day, if it's something that will bring you some sense of joy and you're really good at, and you can even get better at, that's kind of where I would lead people
Hmm.
to put their energy at.
Yeah, for sure. And why would you say it's important to build and sustain? I mean, you talked about relationships before, but build and sustain relationships with people in our network. Yeah, I'm thinking about folks too who have been at the same organization for a long time, or it's, been a while since they've been in the job market, or they are looking to make that leap to go independent, really in times of change and transition. Why is it important to really have those relationships and keep building them?
Well, this is why being a extrovert is so much easier, I think, than an introvert,
Yep.
because I will talk to any and everyone. I'm fascinated by their backstory. You never know who's connected to who.
Mhm.
And if you just share with them, what are your dreams? What are your visions? You'd be surprised. I've had people say, "Oh, well, I've got someone that can do that for you, and it's no charge. Like, I've got someone who'll teach you how to do that." It's just it just manifests itself. So it's super important, because you never know when this person is going to be supportive in your career transition.
Yeah, and I know for me, so I'm an introvert, and I know for me, it's the relationship piece has been really helpful. So
Hmm.
I made, I always say introverts were not party poopers, we're pooped by the party.
Ah, I love
so,
that. Love
so,
that.
we need our downtime after
Yep.
we get up for the people stuff and do our thing, and it's it's not that we don't enjoy being around people and interacting, but I found for me that approach of really focusing on the relationship building has been helpful. So,
Hmm.
I may not go to events where it's like me and, well, now with the pandemic, we can't, but before, me and 100 of your closest friends and stand there with your hors d'oeuvre and the drink. But the relationship piece, so kind of, building relationships with people within groups that I attend and
Hmm.
just getting to know people has been really helpful.
And the thing that I said before about having the mindset of serving people
Mhm.
makes it so much easier. So if you go into a
Yeah.
party or into a new conversation and just be curious about like what's going on with you, like what do you like, oh, my kid needs car insurance, or just the conversations that we have, how can I connect you with the person or solution that you need, and then you've instantly built trust.
That's great. And Pia, how can people find you to connect with you?
They can find me on LinkedIn, and they can also find me at fingerprintmarketing.com. I offer a quick discovery call, basically looking at your 2021 marketing to see, where can I plug the holes.
Awesome. Excellent. Well, thanks so much for being here, Pia, and sharing your story and recommendations for our listeners. I so appreciate it.
Thank you, Lisa, for having me.
You bet. And it's time to wrap up today's show. And that means it's also time for my Reignition recommendation, your weekly career transition tip. This week, my recommendation is to put together, as Pia mentioned, your own personal board of directors. In other words, a team of advisors who can support you during the next phase of your life, such as an accountant, financial planner, a coach, a realtor, insurance broker, healthcare consultant, professional organizer, or downsizing specialist, etc. While your board members don't necessarily have to work together, they can be a great team to give you support and expertise to help ensure your next move, whatever it looks like, is successful. Well, thanks, Eric, for your support today, as always. So, what did you glean from our conversation with Pia today?
Tons of great tips.
Yeah, great
Yeah.
tips. Yeah,
And
great information.
I love the part of the conversation about networking and
Yeah.
introverts versus extroverts. I can relate to that for sure as a kind of an introvert myself, honestly. Lots of great stuff to consider.
Yeah, it's awesome. So thanks so much. And thanks, everyone. And join us next Wednesday at 3 o'clock when it's time once again for our monthly Ask Lisa episode, when I'll answer listeners' career transition questions. As a reminder, you can ask me a question by email at reignitingyou@gmail.com, or just leave a voicemail at 360-436-6496 to share it over audio. You don't have to use your real name, but a name and location would be great. That number again is 360-436-6496. Also, I'm running a promotional deal for the next couple months. Well, for the next month, I guess. So until April 1st. If you would like to experience working with me and need some help with a particular aspect of career transition, you can get a $200 discount until April 1st on a 2-hour strategy session. So go to yournewaspect.com to check that out. Thanks so much for listening, and we'll talk to you next week on Reigniting You.